Hey there guys, welcome to Anthony Reviews, where Anthony reviews. And as you can see here today, we are going to be doing a top 10 of the G.I. Joe Classified Series figures. It's been roughly a year that these figures have been available at retail, so I figured I'd go ahead and share what I thought were my personal top 10 favorite figures from the line so far. Now, obviously, looking at here, we do have some figures that are missing. I don't have every classified figure there is. Obviously, I don't have some of the Cobra Island figures available. The Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, for example, I don't have. So this is just a personal sort of top 10 from the collection that I've been able to create thus far. Now, this video isn't going to be going into any of the distribution problems or whether or not the designs are retro enough or too retro or yada, yada, yada. These are just figures from the line that I will be ranking, and I will try to take some of my own personal bias away from it, but at the same time, it is a personal favorites list. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the line. So, coming in at number 10, we have Flint. So, Flint is one of the, I guess, later releases in terms of the line in its first year, almost making it into the year 2, depending on when you got it. So it has a lot of the toned down detail that you'll notice from some of the earlier waves of the figures. But overall, I quite like this figure. Of course, he comes with the beret, which is removable right there, which has a pretty nice look to it. Very John Hamm, I'm sure a lot of people have compared it to, but I mean, it's Flint, so Flint is going to have that beret on no matter what. It still keeps that classic feel. He's got the black and the sort of camo green. He's got a sort of interesting gun, which, it still has that futuristic feel, but it's not like, over the top, I suppose. I know a lot of people feel like the vest is too bulky, but, it works for me. It's a nice bulletproof vest with tons of shotgun shells or whatever this super space item may shoot. He's got, like, a holster in the back. The overall presentation of this guy, he looks great. It's still that classified feel, which is appropriate. This is the classified line. It's not a retro line. It's its own unique thing. And I think it does a good job balancing the two worlds and bringing in a new version of Flint. And I think he looks great for that. So, number 10, Flint. Cool figure. Then at number 9, we have Firefly from the Cobra Island set. I said at the beginning that I don't have all the Cobra Island figures, but I do have some. And I just love the look of this guy. Once again, this is something where it's not 100% accurate to classic, Firefly. He's got like this big bomb vest, I guess you could call it, and he's got all his extra gear, which is something that I do like about the classified line quite a bit. I love how much gear you're able to stack on these guys, with the drone on the back and the gun and the bomb and just everything. If you can put all of his gear on, then like that's one of the best figures in my opinion. So it looks great. I like the gray camo, and like I mentioned before, while the bomb shielding isn't exactly accurate, I guess, to the original design, there have been later designs that do feature this. Like, this feels very reminiscent to me to like the Pursuit of Cobra line, so that's really cool. I'm not gonna lie, I like the expression. This looks like a guy that messes around with bombs maybe a little too much, so I quite like him. It's something where, once again, it's a nice mix of retro and new aesthetics without going too overboard. He's got sort of a straightforward gray and black and dark gray and light gray design. So yeah, I quite like this guy. He's a good looking figure. Next at number 8, we have Lady J. Lady J, of course, released alongside Flint, which, for Joe fans feels pretty appropriate. It definitely seems like, based on like the cartoon and whatnot, that those were two characters that went together really well. And I quite like this figure. I like this sort of simple green of it all. I have the sort of hairpiece, which some fans don't really like how it sits on her head. There's the hat version as well. I kind of went with the hair just because that sort of feels like the cartoon, in my opinion. And the cartoon is where I get a lot of my enjoyments from in terms of G.I. Joe. But she's got a good amount of gear. She's got her sort of like spears that she's known for having, a knife. Like, it's really, really simple. It's not over the top. It's Lady J. It looks like Lady J. It feels like that character. And that's a lot of what this line does. The best versions are the ones that still feel like the characters, even with all the modern updates. And that's what's really cool about this. So, it's pinless, a double jointed elbow, pinless on a female figure. That's great. It's good to get more females in the line. The Joe universe has a lot of really cool female characters, and Lady J is one of them. So I'm happy to have her in the line here. Very cool. At number 7, we actually have another Joe character. It is Duke. Now, Duke, of course, comes from that first wave, and you can tell because of all the gold. So a lot of the gold bits and things people had a lot of issues with this, like, cyber gun and everything. And I guess now, looking back, that was the influence from the video game, I'm assuming, the G.I. Joe Operation Blackout game. And I guess they were just trying to work out, like, a new aesthetic for the Joes. And to the Joe team credit, they've went and kind of changed that around. There are later releases of this figure with the gold toned down and, without the red details, which I actually don't mind. It kind of brings some color to the figure here. I absolutely adore the face sculpt. I think this is one of the best faces overall in the G.I. Joe line. I just think he looks great. He looks like Duke. He definitely still gives off that Duke feel. I know, some of the colors, people have issues with, but to me, he still feels like that character. So that's why he's higher than some of the other Joes on the list, but still not cranking, the top 5, I guess. But overall, I quite enjoyed this guy. Very, very cool figure. Then at number 6, we have the Cobra Island Cobra Trooper. So obviously they did re-release this figure kind of with a slightly different paint job and less weapons. So obviously the better version of the two is going to be the one with all the more weapons. Harder to find, but still. You get the cool armband, you get this sort of longer rifle, as well as like the standard rifle. You get the black, you get the goggles. This is just a fantastic looking figure. Like the Cobra Troopers, any kind of stormtrooper, foot soldier, you're going to want to have in your collection. And I'm very happy with the way this guy looks. I think, they really nailed the updated aesthetic of the Cobra Trooper with the helmet and the mask. And, he's got like a big bulky vest on. But hey, that still works for me. I still really dig it. This one's a lefty. Most toys that you're going to have on your shelf are going to be dominant with their right hand. But I just think that it displays better with this gun in particular with his left hand. So I mean, does it matter? No, but overall I think the detail is really, really good, really solid. Something that this line does really well is reuse parts without really being obvious about the reuse of parts. I'm sure someone will disagree with that, but I think that they've been really clever with it so far. And this guy it looks great, really cool stuff. Now making it into the top 5, we have Cobra Commander. And, I feel like some people are going to disagree with me on this one. I can't deny that I am a Cobra Commander fan. Before I was collecting Joes in general, I was collecting Cobra Commander. And I think that this is just a solid representation of the character. I really, really do. With what they had to work with, I think that it pulls off the look really well. We've got this like pointing finger. He's commanding. He's the Cobra Commander, of course. He still looks very regal. If I think if anyone can agree on Cobra Commander, it's the egotistical nature of him. So, with all these sort of drapes and wraps and swords and, really coming off like some sort of Napoleon-esque character, very Caesar. He's inspired by the great rulers of the world at one point or another. And you can tell, like, he takes himself way too seriously. And that's appropriate because he's a joke. Just look at him. But you've got the nice print, like the snake print on the side and everywhere. It's just, this is cool. I also do have the Supreme Commander version and the Regal Commander version. So I have all 3 versions of Cobra Commander so far. This is just the one that I have out of its box on display with the rest of the team. So, yeah, I think they're all really cool releases. And I think Cobra Commander is a nice, solid version. I will wait for the hood. We still want the hood, Hasbro. The helmet version is great. I honestly prefer the helmet, but I still want the hood. So please, I hope we get the hood at some point or another. please. Here we are at number 4 with the recently released Cobra Island Major Blood. Now, this figure has kind of been the turn of the tide, really. This figure is fantastic looking, and it has been on store shelves a lot more frequently than a lot of Cobra Island figures, you know? Obviously, Cobra Island, like I said, this is going to be about distribution, anything like that, Target-wise, but, you know, they have a history, and I have been to multiple Targets, you know, within the last few weeks, and this guy is on every store shelf, so, which is good, because this is a good-looking figure. You know, I was talking about reusing parts, which this does, but it still feels like Major Blood. I mean, that face sculpt. Say, pop off the helmet real quick. Fantastic, like utterly fantastic. You know, it does a really good job. I just knocked off one of his rockets on the back here, but like I never really took Major Blood seriously in the cartoon, but this Major Blood I take seriously. He's got his big, you know, rocket. He's got his revolver there, all the cool colors, the weird events on the chest. He just looks great. I think the Cobra guys honestly go over a lot better than the Joes for some reason. I don't know why. I think they just lend themselves better to cooler designs, and if you want to go a bit more sci-fi-esque, you can, because, you know, there's some pretty sci-fi things in the world of Cobra and everything. So very, very cool. You know, a lot of people were saying that this is the best Joe figure yet. Obviously, you know, being number 4, I don't think he's the best one, but top 5 for sure. This guy is absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend, if you can try to track him down, please do. So, and if you know, Hasbro, you re-release the same figure with some different colors, you know, maybe some more cartoon colors or whatever, sure, do that. That's fine. Coming in at number 3, we have Snake Eyes. Now, Snake Eyes, of course, is a character that's had quite a few of releases. You know, he was the first figure that was shown off with some slightly different paint details here and there. This is the first, you know, wave figure, and I mean, he just comes with so much. He looks great. He looks like Snake Eyes. He's undeniably Snake Eyes. I feel like Snake Eyes is a character that would be kind of hard to screw up, to be honest, but they did a really good job. You've got a lot of gear that comes with him, a lot of different details. You know, the lack of sort of paint allows you to kind of really get in with those details here, as I'm repeating myself, just because I think this is a really, really neat figure. You know, I'm very excited as we are, you know, waiting for future figures. We have the Commando version coming out with Timber. Excited to have this version and that version and the movie version. Snake Eyes is a popular character. I know some people complain about the overabundance of the Snake Eyes character, but at the same time, I mean, this is one of the most recognizable faces in the G.I. Joe brand. Him and Cobra Commander are like neck and neck as far as people will recognize it if they didn't maintain any sort of like relationship to G.I. Joe. He's cool. He's the Wolverine effect, you know, he's a badass. And the figure's really good too. Really, really like this guy. Like I said, solid representation of the Snake Eyes character. If you have a G.I. Joe collection, you should probably have Snake Eyes. I think that's the rule, right? I think that's written somewhere. But yeah, cool stuff. All right, we're almost at the top, folks, but we have second place, our silver medal, which is appropriate because it is Destro. And I mean, my goodness, Destro just looks so, so good. This was one of those Wave 1 figures where I think people saw some of the others and were a bit iffy on the line, but I think everyone agreed that Destro just nails the look. I've said it quite a bit in this video, but the balance of just classic but new is just, it really does look well on Destro. I mean, the face there, he looks great. He looks absolutely just great. You've got the jewel, you've got all the colors right, you've got a briefcase. Like, I don't know what else you could really want from this. You know, they did the other Destro version, the Prophet Director Destro, the Pimp Daddy Destro, as it's called. And, you know, that's a really fun version, but obviously if you need just one Destro, it's going to be the standard version. He looks so slick. I don't know what you could do with this other than doing just a straight up classic version to really improve on this character. I think they nailed it. So I'm excited to see what they do in the future, but at the same time, a little worried because this is it. This is Destro, and he looks fantastic. And so, coming in at number 1, is Zartan. Now, I'm totally prepared for people to disagree with me on this one. But like, you know, as I mentioned with Destro, I think that the best figures from this line do a good job balancing the old with the new. And that's what I get here. You know, like, this is so obviously Zartan, but still he's got that updated feel. I was really hoping and was almost worried of like, gosh, I really hope that some of the goofier looking characters like, you know, Gung Ho with his open chest and Zartan here with his exposed midriff, I hope they keep that, because those are the characters to me. And they did. Like, you've got this guy with these muted brown colors, but like, sun's out, guns out, you know? And like, he worked hard on that six-pack, so you're gonna see it. That's great. I like the way the hood droops over. A lot of hoods kind of have a weird effect on certain figures where they don't really go to the head really well, but I feel like they go really well here. We'll take the hood off. You've got a nice bald-looking Zartan head. I mean, he looks menacing. He's got the weird eyes. All that's missing is something that this figure can't do, is the ability to talk and have that, you know, weird voice from the cartoon. But he comes with a lot of accessories. He comes with like a monkey's paw and like a snake's head. That's weird, but that's what I want from Zartan. I want weird. Zartan is such a weird character, and he really sticks out in my mind in the world of G.I. Joe, but for very, very good reasons. You know, in the backpack, you've got the alternate sort of mask like the retro figure. He's brilliant. I love this figure so much. This is what the classified line means to me. That beautiful mix of old and new into a nice new version. And definitely recommend, if you can get Zartan, please do. He's pretty regularly available just because, you know, he was in a standard wave. So yeah, it's awesome. So I highly recommend that you pick this guy up. So there you guys go. These are what I consider to be the top 10 of the G.I. Joe classified line so far. You know, we've got figures already announced, already coming down the pipeline. So, you know, this can change at any point. But for now, I guess for year one, we'll call it, this is what I consider the best of the best. And I'm sure a lot of you people will have your own opinions on what you think are the best figures. So feel free to let me know down in the comments below. Let's hear some wish lists. You know, what figures are you guys wanting to see from this line? You know, obviously I'm wanting, like, Shipwreck would be great. Tomax and Zammot would be awesome. Mindbender, Alpine. I mean, the list is endless. You know, there's so many characters. But let me guys know, what Joes do you want? What are your favorites? You know, what you thought of the video. If there's any that you agree on, disagree on, use it for whatever you like. But happy Yo Joe June. You know, of course, this was for Yo Joe June happening right now. I forgot to mention that at the top of the video. Whoops. But thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, feel free to check out some more videos of mine. Subscribe. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Anthony Lantern. And Yo Joe, guys. See you guys later.